is, okay, you know you're going to go raise money, and you've set aside every aspect of your business that you can possibly hand off. You know you're going to be full-time going and tracking down investors for the next however long it takes. Hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully you can find an investor right off the bat, but you never know. You talk to a lot of founders, and it's not uncommon to hear that they had 100+ investor meetings before they found their investor. And so you run this blitz outreach campaign where you set up a bunch of meetings. It used to be that you would go out to Sand Hill Road, go knock all the doors, set up the meetings, and you would go and meet with the VCs face to face. It's a little bit easier now. It's not, not that level of expectation that you have to go sit in the investors conference room and present to them. That's at least one good outcome of COVID, is that the standard experience now is online, not face to face, but it still takes a lot of time. You've got to go create the relationship, track down who's running deal flow for the investors. They get a setup, they run the initial traps on you to make sure that you pass muster, at least through the fund's associates, and then they'll set up the partner interview where they dig into the brass tacks and the details, get into the weeds of your company. And so again, this is a big process, and you're only doing this usually when you're raising money, because investor outreach, investor relations, it takes time, and you've set aside time now for this capital raise, and you don't want to have to worry about it after that. So that's a traditional route. Agile route is, you're going to events, you're always setting up meetings with investors, and your message to investors is, if the investment is right, we're always ready to raise. If the terms are right, we are always willing to take on new investors. We have an open round right now that you can come in on if it fits your portfolio. That's the messaging. Whenever you're at a networking event where there are investors, whenever you're reaching out, you're always have that message that, hey, we're open to talking and seeing if we're a good fit for your portfolio. We have an open round. And that's the Agile thought process, is you always have an open round that investors can come into. So it's a systematic kind of, it's not once every year you have this blitz campaign. It's maybe once every week on Mondays, you send out some communications to new investors just to keep building your network, building that pipeline of investors. And it is a pipeline. You treat it like a sales process where you've got, here's potential investors, here's some qualified investors who I've talked to, here's, interested investors who are more likely to set up a presentation where I can set up an interview with. So you're treating it like a sales pipeline.
I love you comparing this side by side, because it really is, like, as a founder who's been in it, you've been in this, you felt both ways.
I have done the Sand Hill Road. I went and raised money as a founder pre-COVID on Sand Hill Road, doing the not the bar crawl, but the fund crawl, if you will. So
that's awesome.
I know what it's like.
It's a different world now, which is an opportunity to seize the day. And like anything in the startup world or life, it's not a guarantee that this, openness of investing without even meeting people or all online, this is new. And it would be amazing if this becomes a new norm for many people who may not be in Silicon Valley. I mean, that saves you having to fly to Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah.
Major network. There's all these costs that you can avoid by meeting online. So this is a huge opportunity for you as a founder anywhere in the world to still get in and get access. But it is a super huge, we're not going to sugarcoat this. This is the hardest part. This is why Real Raise, we're trying to figure out, how do we attract the most alignment together as a group, so that when you are raising, or you are saying, hey, if I'm open to investment, or you starting a round, or a round's closing, that we can help support each other with our combined network. So to me right now, what's really cool about the traditional versus Agile is, it's like, in a lot of ways, traditional is very FOMO based. It's like, hey, you're going to miss out. We're going to do this. Closing, it's definitely a more high paced sales experience, and you got to run it like that. You got to be aggressive and go for it. And Agile seems a little more like, hey, you could swag it out and say, hey, look, we're really picky about who we work with. You can definitely work that to your advantage, but it's also based on alignment. It's really like, hey, if it's the right moment, if it's a good fit, let's have that conversation. And so I think FOMO and alignment in my brain are separating the two. One is like, and you can do them together, is like you can have different spurts or in between type rounds or things like that you want to put a deadline on. But once that deadline passed, you also have to know that when you have did you hit it or not? So you got to balance.
Yeah. And like to your point, you still use FOMO with the Agile approach, which is like, hey, this round, we're always raising, but this valuation is not going to last forever. We're raising at this valuation. Yeah. And as soon as we hit the next inflection point, that valuation is going to bump up. So if you're interested, get in now. So Agile still uses FOMO, but it's a different approach. It's not we've got 10 investors we're talking to right now, and we're going to go with whoever gives us the best terms. It's a different type of FOMO.
It's a different FOMO. Yeah, FOMO is always there. And that might be a comfort level you think as a founder, like what your skill set is, which one you're more comfortable with, what those milestones can be that you've got kind of secretly lined up. That's an extra little strategy to make sure that right at the end of a round or as you're trying to build that FOMO, have a few stocked away milestones or things you're working on so that those updates or investor updates can build excitement. Don't put everything out necessarily right in front.
Exactly. And that next bullet point, the established recurring engagement, is all about that experience where, when you have the first contact with investors and if they express some interest in what you're doing, and maybe now's not the right time, then you say, hey, can I add you to my, my investor update list, where you have basically a marketing list that you have that's investors. And then once a month, you send out a blast of, here's what's awesome happened in the last month, or maybe once a quarter, whatever makes sense to you. Here's the inflection points we hit, those big, value in bumps that we hit. And by the way, and as an attorney, you don't want to do what we call a general solicitation in your raise. But if you're reaching out to people who are already in your network, people who are on your investor list, people who you've contacted before, and so they know who you are, you can go out every month and say, hey, this is within the securities laws, regulation stuff that attorneys will talk to you about. But if you're sending out an email to people who are in your network, these investors you've contacted before, you can say, we're doing a raise right now. We've hit these awesome milestones, and perfect time to get in. We're doing a financing at this valuation with these terms. You can do that on a monthly or a quarterly basis. And that's part of that ongoing engagement where here's why right now awesome things are happening. Yeah. This is what has happened in the last month or quarter that has just blown us up. And we're excited about this. Now's the time. Come on in. And you can do that on an ongoing basis. You have that recurring engagement. And then what's the last part here, which is, some people don't realize this, but especially if you're a B2B SaaS company, you're selling to other businesses. Well, investors are investors in businesses. They have portfolios of potential clients for customers. You. Exactly. And so you're using this investor outreach as a potential lead gen tool, where if you can get the investors excited, they're going to let their portfolios know. They're going to send out an email to their portfolio, say, hey, check out this new this tool that we came across that might be perfect for you guys. And this is the Agile approach. Traditional, you often have one lead investor with maybe a little bit of a few other people coming into a round. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the structure and planning section. But with an Agile round, you're actually, it's a good idea to get as many investors at the table as you can, because each of those investors brings their portfolio into your potential pipeline. And that's where, the Agile approach is great. Investors are a potential lead gen tool.
I love that, because that's the momentum we're talking about, right? The momentum that's going to gravity, pull investors in, pull new customers in, pull maybe other types of resources. I've seen some really great founder updates and founders sharing your updates with each other, especially if you're not raising at the same time or you're in different industries. Share those updates with each other if you don't know what that looks like, because this is how you build rapport with people you don't know. It's like a pen pal. The more letters you get back and forth, the more they feel like they know you and, might invest in you. Maybe not fly and get to meet that pen pal a few years later, but they'll actually, put their money and get behind. But it's more than money. I'm really glad that you brought that up, that investment doesn't have to always be a check. And at different moments of your business, it may become a check. It may start out as a check, but it can be a variety of other types of resources that you can keep that momentum growing. Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited. That feels much better in terms of the outreach. Also, thank you for the language of how you can say it, how we can be comfortable in our updates, and making sure we stay legally compliant there. We're not overstepping any promises of things or having to worry about, okay, is this accredited or not? We're safe to do these.
Savvi, we partner with Retransact to give you guys a number of tools and services to make your lives as founders easier and better throughout your venture's life cycle, from formation to fundraising, even to exit. And so we offer a number of tools on a SaaS platform that you get to take advantage of in a DIY. You get to access it and use it as much as you want or need. I'll show you what some of those tools are, or I'll talk about them. And then we also offer services in conjunction with those tools that you can take advantage of as well. And I'll explain some of what those are shortly. So we have a number of different products. We have Savvi Go, Savvi Raise, and Savvi Exit. These are packages of tools that you access on a SaaS platform that you can use depending on the stage of your company. So if you are just starting out, at a pre-seed level, we have a number of services that you can take advantage of depending on what you're needing. We have subscriptions that you can use. And these services are, your entity formation, getting your org documents set up, getting your entity filed with different states, getting bank accounts set up, getting your founder documents set up, your cap table set up, your option pool set up. This is all stuff we label as, hey, you need to do this pre-fundraising. This is basic foundational stuff for your company. And we want to give this to you as easy and as cheap as possible. You can get access to our tools through a subscription on Savvi. We also have add-on services. So if you have questions about, well, what if I want to be an LLC or a C Corp? Which of those is best? Why should I be a Delaware corporation if I'm going to be raising money? What if I'm already an LLC and need to convert it to a corporation? We have add-on services that we can give you quotes for to help provide those. If you actually want to hop on a call with an attorney and get that counsel and hand-holding or a white glove experience, we can provide those services as well.
Yeah.
We'll share how you can schedule with our team to talk about the pricing of that and what that looks like. Just a heads up, as a Retransact company, if you sign up for a Savvi subscription, you also will get some credits towards some of these services, and we'll share what that looks like. And so that's a Savvi Go level.
Oh, that's exciting.
Savvi,
I didn't even know about that one, so I'm excited.
Yeah, there's some credits that you can take advantage of if you're a Retransact company. So Savvi Raise is a bundle of tools and services that is meant for somebody who's raising money.
Awesome.
So we have a number of self-serve tools that you can get access to on our platform if you're on a subscription. So safes and convertible notes, everything from board consents to approve those financings, the term sheets that you would need to generate to share with the investors, the signature collection process. Mm-hmm. We have some due diligence reports that you can actually fill out to share with investors so that you don't have to go through a law firm to answer all those questions. You can go through our diligence report process and share it with the investors directly to skip over all of those transaction fees that firms charge you to develop a diligence report. You'll have the ability to generate data rooms for your investors and share those data rooms with investors for ongoing reporting. One thing I'll mention is we have a library of templates, templates for employee onboarding, equity agreements, board and stockholder consents, all these things that you want to be able to do. We have a library of templates. We call them workflows, and you'll get access to that on our platform depending on what you're looking to do. If you have a very custom document, we may not have a template for it, but we could automate it for you. So there's some customization that we can do. Those roll-up vehicles, the SPVs that we talked about, we have workflows for you to be able to set those up as well and have investors invest through an SPV. And then on the service side, we have counsel, paralegals who can provide financing counsel and financing admin services. We are a fraction of the cost for compared to your standard law firm. So we work with financing counsel partners who work under the Savvi model, meaning they're going to use the platform to streamline signature collection, data rooms. They're not going to be churning billable hours on your financing. If you engage with our partner law firms, you're going to get an efficient and effective financing experience. We have ongoing paralegal subscriptions as well for folks who, hey, I don't want to maintain my cap table, or I need somebody to help me maintain my cap table. That ongoing, what we call corporate compliance, you can have a paralegal that's at a subscription price to be able to do that sort of things. So we have a number of services to go with your financing along with the SaaS tools.
Yeah.
And we will share with WeTransact kind of some demos that they can put out there so that you can go and see what the Savvi platform looks like and how to use it.
Yeah.
But that is what Savvi offers. We want to make that available to the WeTransact companies. We are offering up to $1,200 in credit. Depending on your subscriptions that you get on, that credit may be lower. It could even be higher, and depending on what services you're looking to do. So this is actually, it says here you need to schedule a call by December 31st. This is actually an open offer for WeTransact companies. So regardless of when you have your financing coming down the road, you can schedule with our onboarding team. So this QR code takes you to a calendar link if you want to just scan that. Otherwise, you'll be able to contact our onboarding team to talk about the pricing, the price points, the different services, what that looks like. And the WeTransact site you'll be able to access that contact information through the site. So that's it for our high level overview of what you get as a WeTransact company through the Savvi partnership. So hopefully that's been helpful.
Yes, my goodness, it's more than helpful. I mean, this is exciting because one thing we loved from the first time we met with your team was you really understand startups and entrepreneurs, and that's not always something every law firm has a specialty in, and that is something here. As your experience as a founder, you could really empathize. You've really understood all the kind of danger points, the red flag points, all the areas that could be improved, and what you've developed with Savvi and your team is fantastic because it's like you're wearing both hats. You're able to say, hey, this would be a lot better for the founder. This is what's affordable at this stage. And, understanding that like there's a lot that a resourceful founder can do on their own. And having a SaaS that starts you on the right path hopefully helps you avoid those pitfalls, and then growing with you and really being able to have a SaaS product, because not all founders, I think, get the legal advice they need at the moment they need it most. It's knowing the information before you need it. It's but having these strategies so that you don't end up at a place where you gotta pay to get out of, so to speak. It was more costly than
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's exactly it. So hopefully we can, get you guys what you need, and we'd love to talk to you even just to explore what you're looking for, see if we can get you what you need. So thanks everybody for your time.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you on. We'll break it all up. We'll make sure everybody has everything. There's going to be a lot of resources coming along the way. As Dan and his team have updates, we'll be sure to post that as well. And thank you, Dan, so much for taking your time to really go through this and answer a lot of the questions that founders are probably needing to ask right now as they plan for their raise.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you.